The next one is at light heavyweight. This one's the Beverly Hills Ninja, Jordan Wright versus Hurricane Ike Villanueva, also goes by Isaac. Jordan Wright, he's an American. He's a wealthy kid from Beverly Hills, hence the name Beverly Hills Ninjas.
He better, if he wins this fight, though, he better do some Beverly Hills Ninja quotes or something.
No, he's not going to do that. He's a snob. He's a snob. Yeah, I'll say that. He's a snob. But so he's a wealthy kid from Beverly Hills. He's 10-0-1, that one being a no contest. In all honesty, he got knocked out by Anthony Hernandez in about 40 seconds on Dana White's Contender Series. Anthony Hernandez tested positive for marijuana metabolites, so they changed that fight to a no contest. Jordan Wright is really 10-1. He's going against Isaac Ike Villanueva. He's an American, 16-10, 36 years old, 6 feet 1 inches tall, and he's 0-1 in the UFC, coming off of a second-round knockout loss to Chase Sherman. What do you think about these guys?
So, you already talked about Jordan Wright. He's moving up to light heavyweight for this fight from middleweight.
Yep.
And Villaneuva.
That could be because of the short notice.
Right. I do think that's because, he only weighed in at 200 pounds. He didn't even make 205. Yep. So he's going to be clearly the smaller guy, especially with Ike coming down from heavyweight. Wright is coming off a knockout win, but you had just touched on it before that. He was knocked the F out on the Contender Series.
Oh, yeah.
Knocked out cold.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but when I look at him, he's pretty light on his feet, shows some good wrestling. Other than that, he's not like a superstar prospect, somebody that you would really need to pay too much attention to. I mean, he's got some wrestling, got some striking. See if he can put it together and get it done. We'll find out, because he's facing Hurricane Ike.
Yeah.
So, with Hurricane Ike, he's got a ton of power in his hands. Ike is coming down from heavyweight, where I don't really remember if he took that fight on a last-minute replacement as well. Maybe that's why he was at heavyweight. But he didn't look good at heavyweight at all.
No.
He just put on a lot of flab for that.
I mean, it could have really just been the guy that he was fighting, though.
Yeah, so could have been.
He fought Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman came out and pretty much whooped him.
Yeah, he whooped him. I mean, the first round was kind of close, back and forth, but the second round, Chase really turned it on.
Yeah. Hit him with some heavy, strong, accurate punches, and Ike didn't really like taking those punches.
Yeah.
And he just kind of shelled up. But that's very similar to what happened with Wright in his fight. As soon as he got hit by Hernandez right out the gate there in the first fight, he pretty much covered up and shelled up. And Hernandez was able to smoke him too. So neither of these guys really like to take a punch.
Yeah, so I mean, now with Wright, he's light on his feet and really has some pretty good wrestling. Outside of that, I don't really see too much.
Where do you see the wrestling at, though?
So you got to watch his last few fights. He wrestles in all of them.
He's a crusher. He's a striker.
He might be.
He's a striker.
You got to watch his fights, though. He wrestles.
I don't know. He's a striker. Most of his fights are knockouts, and they're all against So if you look at his first 8 opponents, his first 8 opponents, their combined record is 1 win and 36 losses. Terrible. He is the biggest can crusher we've had on the show, and he only, and they might have even been thrown fights for money. Who knows? I don't like speculating, but this guy comes off acting like a douchebag when he talks about the fact that he doesn't need to fight. He likes to fight because whatever. But anyway, 4 of the fighters that he's fought had 0-0 records. Mm-hmm. One of them was 1-2. One of them was 0-5. One of them was 0-10. One of them was 0-21. He has 5 knockouts and he has 5 submissions. He has 9 of those wins coming in the first round. They might say he can wrestle, but he's fighting cans.
Yeah, I mean, that could be playing into it, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting real cans. Isaac, he's definitely got 10 losses to his record, but he's had the much better competition overall.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, by far the much better competition.
Definitely had the better competition.
Yeah, I mean, so Jordan Wright, he's only fought 3 people in all of his 11 fights, 3 people who had a winning record. One of them was to Anthony Hernandez. He's only beat 2 people with a winning record.
Yeah.
One of them had a subpar record, and then the last one was like 14-5 or 14-6,
11-5,
something like that. Yeah, so, I mean, he's not really beat anybody worth anything. He's just crushed a lot of cans.
Yeah, Craig Wilkerson, when he fought him, was 7-3.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying there's a couple of good wins, but outside of that, the first 8 opponents on your record having a 1-36 combined record.
Yeah,
that's can crusher. That's the biggest can crusher I've seen on the show.
Yeah, you look at his first fight with John Stern. That was John Stern's first fight.
Yeah,
he lost, got another win, but then he lost again. So he was 1-2 at that point, and then fought him again.
Fought him again.
So I don't know why he would be fighting him again at 1-2 versus.
And that's the win. That's the win that I mentioned. That was 1-2. One of the fighters.
But I mean, if you look at him though, he does have 5 submission wins too.
Yeah.
So you'll see he's probably going to be looking to get this fight to the ground. Because I don't think he wants to stand and trade with Ike. And Ike has power in his hands, especially at light heavyweight.
I don't think either of them want to stand and trade with each other. I don't think either of them wants to get hit. He doesn't like getting hit. Jordan doesn't like getting hit. Ike doesn't like getting hit. Ike probably has the ability to generate more power, but, Jordan has some good, flashy kicks that I like. Mm-hmm. I like the way that his striking looks. I just don't like the way that he acts as far as his personality trying to sell himself. And I don't like the fact that most cans. But,
did you watch the Hurricane Ike fight versus Trevin Giles?
Yes.
Did you watch that one? Ike actually showed a pretty versatile skill set in that fight. He showed that he can get it done.
So Trevin Giles is another UFC fighter.
Yeah, he just lost to Holland, right? Kevin Holland?
Trevin Giles got pulled out of the Holland fight.
Was that the one he got pulled out of?
He's the one that had the heart issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't lose. He passed out on the way out to the walkout.
Well, who did he just fight? I don't think he just fought.
They have Trevin Jones
fighting. It was Holland ended up fighting somebody else.
Holland fought somebody else and won.
Yeah, and he looked great doing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, versus Trevin Giles, Ike looked really good. Granted, that was probably like fight 10, 11, somewhere right in there on his career. But he looked like he had good striking, good grappling. He looked like he was pretty good everywhere before he ended up getting knocked out in that fight. By Giles. Giles landed some great strikes.
Giles is a monster, man.
Yeah.
He actually
got tapped out with an arm triangle.
I had Giles picked to win that Holland fight. Mm-hmm. You had Holland picked
to win
that one.
But so if I had to say Ike was anything, I'd call him a brawler. He's a brawler.
That's what he does. A brawler. Yeah, definitely.
So it's going to be interesting to see him back down at light heavyweight. But for now, my pick, I've got to go with Jordan Wright here by submission in the second round. I think he gets it down, I think he taps him.
So you're going with the can crusher in the second round by submission. All right. You know what? Isaac also has a win over Rashad Coulter. Rashad Coulter is another guy that fought in the UFC. Isaac knocked him out in the first round. Isaac's definitely got the better competition.
Oh, for sure.
He's got 13 knockouts to his record, and he has 3 decisions. However, I do think that Jordan Wright's striking is a little bit better, and I have him picked to win by knockout in round 1.
But you look at Ike's losses, though. He's been knocked out 4 times.
4 times.
He's been tapped out 5 times. Yep. So either one is very possible.
Either one is possible. I mean, I don't really see it happening on the ground, but, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think that Jordan's going to stand and trade with this guy.
It's going to be interesting because I don't think that, Jordan Wright belongs in the UFC. I think Isaac's definitely proved himself to be in the UFC, but I do have Jordan picked to win the fight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense because, we're looking at what we see here, and history and also age plays into that as well. Plus coming back down after putting on all that weight to go to heavyweight.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Well, here we go into this fight right here. The next one, we move into another one I'm